Kia ora, everybody. Hi, I'd like to introduce Tara. Tara is a kaiārahi for CATE, which is the Careers and Transition Education Association of New Zealand. And we'll just start. Tara, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Kia ora. Yes. Thank you for having me today. It's great to be here with you. So my background is that I was a secondary school teacher. I trained as a social sciences teacher. I worked as a teacher in the classroom for about 10 years, and then I trained, also did my qualification in career guidance, and that was in 2014, just trying to remember now. And I've worked in that space since then. So I've worked in Gateway and as a Gateway coordinator, so finding work placements for students, and then as a careers advisor and a head of department in a school, a very large school on Auckland's North Shore. And then I stepped into this role of kaiārahi in May last year. So, and yeah, I've been in this job since then, which has been
Um,
great.
yeah, I have the same. So what do you do in your role as
Um,
kaiārahi?
Yeah, so it's a very busy role, and there's a quite a wide range of things that I do as part of this job. So really, my main focus is to help run or to run PD events and to provide professional development and support for teachers or for careers advisors or people with it that work within the career space in schools. So I've run regional workshops. So you'll see there's a map behind me. And CATE has 16 different regions, and every region has a little subgroup and a regional committee, and will organise professional development for their members. So I visited all of the regions and and delivered like a one-day professional development workshop. I've run 2-day new careers advisor workshops in Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch last year and this year. I have run online webinars, so I do lots of lunchtime bites where I will have a little session where someone will do some sort of professional development question and answers about a subject that's relevant to people working in this space. So examples might be studying in the United States or studying in the UK or programs that are out there and all that sort of thing. Lots of online webinars, and then I've run a Gateway conference and Gateway online new coordinator workshop. So yeah, really lots of different activities, a regular newsletter. So I send out a newsletter fortnightly as well. So yeah, really it's just giving people professional development information and yeah, really supporting those out there doing the
Yeah.
mahi.
And
Mm.
it's a really valuable role. Our role's somewhat similar at Tens Kaiārahi, but I saw some kids yesterday actually at my old school and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I told them like, "Oh, so you're teaching the teachers." And I was like, helping the teachers, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to stay in the profession in education and give back in a different way. And I'm sure you're probably feeling as well from as myself, on the outside of being in the classroom, it looks quite different. There's
Mm.
just so many other factors that are going on. Um, yeah, so it is an interesting role, isn't it? And you get to meet so many
Yes.
people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things I've really appreciated about this job is that thing of going out and meeting people out around the motu, doing the mahi, and particularly those in the smaller regions that quite often are the sole practitioners in their school within that career development space. And they often feel very isolated and unsupported. So it's great to have this opportunity to give them some professional development and go out and, I guess it's just making those connections and allowing them to have someone to reach out to ask questions as well, which is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really valuable.
So, I was interested to know, are you seeing any trends in school leavers throughout New Zealand at the moment?
I think at the moment, the feedback that I'm getting, particularly with gateway coordinators, is that they're really struggling to find placements for young people. I think that it's a really tough job market at the moment, which is making it really challenging for our young people to leave school and get jobs, which is yeah, that is not a great place for them to be. Um, in terms of school leavers, I mean, there's some sort of concerning data out there. The OECD have recently published a fantastic tool. There's a online dashboard, and you can go and look at data about school leavers and what their career aspirations are. And the data is yeah a little bit concerning. So over almost 50% of our young people are aspiring to one of 10 careers. So there's a lot of sort of I guess stereotypes and ideas about what is a good career, and that's something that me personally I'm always trying to push and kind of get students and young people and careers advisors to think about what else is beyond those 10. And just to give you some idea, the new career online career planning tool. Sorry, I had to stop and think about that one. That the Tahatu website that the government is just working on right now. There's 800 different jobs on that website. So it's really quite concerning that our students are wanting to choose one of 10 when there's so many options out there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Why
I
do you
guess
think that is? Do you have any thought behind that?
I think a lot of it comes from sort of traditional ideas. Probably, I mean, parents are key influences, and I think a lot of them see those careers as safe careers, careers that are going to earn good money. You can probably already guess what a lot of those careers are. So, doctor, lawyer, architect, engineer. They're very gendered. So if you look at the top 10 that the girls are looking at, that's nurse, teacher, psychologist, health professional. For boys, it's, the second highest one is sports people, ICT, builders, armed forces, police. So yeah, I think it's just I think part of the problem is that young people aren't exposed to different things and aren't challenged to look beyond those. So it's
Mm.
kind of the ones that people know.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah,
there's so much more. I mean, I even reflect on when I was at school and the options available. And now the things that you can get degrees in didn't even exist when I was at school. So,
yeah,
for our own children who are going to go into university, they're going to be able to experience so much more and have so many more options. And then I think those sort of key competencies of collaboration and communication ring true every single time. And lots of people I'm speaking to, those are the words that are coming up. And being
absolutely.
creative and problem solvers, you know,
Yes.
the, and you can't necessarily tie that to a subject area.
Yeah.
It falls into technology really nicely, but it's those sort of key competencies that should be across everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, this has been one of the things I've been talking about a lot of my workshops this year is focusing on skills and making sure that our young people can identify the skills that they're developing at school.
Mm,
And I know from my own experience of sitting down trying to write a CV with a young person and saying, what skills do you have? And they cannot articulate those.
mm,
And when you look at the research, the World Economic Forum has just released a report about the skills that are going to be needed in 2030 and beyond. And they're all those skills that you just identified, that teamwork, collaboration, work, communication, creativity, thinking outside the box, problem solving. Those are the skills that are going to be required in the future. And particularly, obviously there's the concern about AI and how that's going to impact on jobs.
I was going to ask you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And I don't have a crystal ball. I can't guarantee the future, but the one thing that we do know, and that the literature is telling us, is that it's this focus on skills and skill development that is going to hopefully stand young people in good stead in the future. Mm.
So, bearing all those things in mind, what would your top tips be for students who might watch this that are going to be leaving school and aspiring to do great things?
I think that for me, it's all about really engaging in some sort of careers education or career development activities, I guess. When we talk about career theory, the first place we always start is who am I? What am I about? What are my values? What are my skills? What sort of work environment do I want to be in? Do I want to be inside? Do I want to be outside? Do I want to be doing hands-on physical work? Like that's the kind of starting point. And for me, I think that's where young people should be starting is really thinking about all of that stuff. Who am I? What makes me up? What sort of work is going to suit me?
Mm,
Then start looking at the labor market, jobs, potential career pathways that they can go in, try and find a match that's going to suit them, and then start their planning from there. Quite often I would see young people in my previous job and they come in and they'd say, oh, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. And I'd say to them, why do you want to do that? And they couldn't answer that question. And for
mm,
me, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars training and educating yourself in an area, you want to go into that fully knowledgeable about why you're doing this, what the outcomes are going to be. Are there jobs out there?
mm.
So it's really, taking the time to do some research and really, really think about what the next steps are and why, and,
Yeah.
making a well-informed decision,
Yeah.
really.
And at what age are you thinking you should be having these conversations? Like, I feel year 12 was a bit late for these conversations. Year 13 is definitely a bit late for these conversations. Should we be having these conversations a lot earlier with kids?
Absolutely. I mean, in a perfect world, careers education would be done every year, probably starting as early as primary or intermediate school, ideally. And obviously, at primary and intermediate school, it's not so much what do you want to do, but it's kind of just opening their awareness to the different things that are out there. And there's a program called Inspiring the Futures, which is a fantastic program, and it's sort of based on that idea, what I was talking about previously, that young people are choosing one of 10 careers, but also that idea of you can't be what you can't see. So
Mm,
bringing in people to open their awareness about, all the different pathways that are out there and those things that they haven't thought about. So ideally, that would be starting at kind of intermediate level,
mm,
and then students should be engaging with this every year level because, as you'll know, things change. A year 9 student and a year 12 or a year 13 student, what they might have thought they wanted to do in year 9 is often very different by the time they reach year 12 and 13.
yeah.
And the other thing that's really crucial is that if students aren't taking the right subjects quite often at year 12 and 13, that will shut down potential
Mm.
options for them when they leave school, particularly in maths and science areas, because if they're prerequisites for university degrees and students haven't done their research and haven't done those subjects at school, that shuts down that option for them.
Yeah,
So
and that's
yeah.
another reason to be having these conversations a lot earlier. My own daughter she's year 12, and yeah, she is really like, well, what do I need? Not necessarily to go into the degree that she wants, but if she wants to go to university, she has to have a certain number of credits here and there, and it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. And I think some guidance around that a lot earlier, because parents don't necessarily know or understand when you get that handbook that comes home from the school about picking subjects,
Mm.
it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And we're lucky we're in education that we can probably understand it a lot better. Um, but I think, yeah, some more time given to that and that figuring out, I like how you said about how you want to work. Do you want to be outside? Do you want to be using your hands? Like, what sort of environment do you want to be in? I probably never even thought about that. And as a student, I would now, but not as a student. It wouldn't have really crossed my mind. And like what my values are and what I want to get out of a job. I don't know if anyone asked me, you know? So I think that's really valuable. I think, you've shared some really interesting and valuable information there for teachers, even just to be having conversations in their subject area classrooms around different
Mm,
types of professions that can stem from these sort of technology areas because it's technology teachers that will be seeing it. Have those conversations, find the role models, get the people in. I'm a massive advocate for that too. Like, get
yeah,
people in that are doing these jobs and have these conversations. And the more you're exposed to seeing these things and meeting these people and learning about it, the more informed your decision making can be. So,
absolutely.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for your time. It's been a really great conversation, Tara, and I've actually taken a lot out of it myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people will too.
Great. Nice to
Thank
talk to
you.
you today.
Thanks.
All the best. Ka kite.